Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning, depending on what side of the globe you're on. I'm R.C. Blakes, and this is a Saturday afternoon in the United States of America. And I wanted to try something today that I've never done on YouTube. I've never taken live calls on YouTube. Usually I do this on Facebook. For church purposes, I take live calls for prayer and what have you. But I just decided, I said, well, let me see how this might work on YouTube. And let me do it at an odd time. And let's see, so many of you around the world that I never get a chance to talk to. El Segundo, California. Hello, are you there?
I am here. How are you?
I am fantastic. What's your name?
That my name is Wanda.
Wanda, and you're from
Is this
California,
Mr.
right?
Blake?
This is R.C. Blake's.
Hello there. Happy Saturday morning to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. How can I help you? What's your
I have
first
a
name?
great question
Wanda?
for you. Go
You said
ahead.
Wanda. Wanda is your name, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's your question?
So my question is, I am me and my ex-husband, ex-divorce. We're actually working on reuniting. And I had a question for him this morning about is he being led by God as far as being a husband. And he was not for sure of that, of being led by God. And he stated that he would have to look it up in the Bible to understand what it is to be a husband, how to show up as a husband, a father, and so on and so forth. We do have children together and grandchildren together. But I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing by reuniting back into marriage. Him being the leader of the family, making sure that he can lead me if he doesn't know how God set it up for him to lead me.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. That question that you asked him is a question that would probably stump 90% of the pastors in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, honestly. Because,
Okay.
very few of us as men, especially, really, really invest ourselves into studying and understanding the responsibility of fathering, of being a husband. And
Mm-hmm.
so, we kind of go off of the instinct. We go off of the feeling. I know I love you. I know I want you. I want to be with you. And so when a woman is so astute as to say, well, have you been led? Do you know what this entails? It will stump
Mm-hmm.
probably 90% of the pastors, because you'd be amazed at how many pastors of great churches that I talk to who have marital problems because they just don't understand their role. And it's not
Mm.
necessarily that they are inept and can't fulfill the role. It's not that they don't want to fulfill the role. It's just that, especially as black people in the United States of America, we were never taught to really research and to understand the real ramifications of saying I do. So what I would
Right.
do, it sounds like you have a man that you love a lot, and it sounds like he loves you, and it sounds like you all really have history.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do is I would, since he's open, I would really probably look into people like Tony Evans. I would look into anything that Miles Monroe has to say on husbands. I think I did a video on YouTube relative to what it means to be a husband. And just kind of look at that stuff and kind of, pause it and have conversation about it, and kind of go over it together. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be bonding. And I think it'll elevate his perspective. But it sounds like you have a man that loves you a lot and has all of the tools, just needs the instruction manual now.
Wow, that's a good answer. I love that answer. I thank you so much. It just happened to come up, and I'm so glad that you did something different today by going live.
Yeah.
And I took the chance on giving you a call because I was really confused in that place.
Yeah, yeah. So it wouldn't be it's not a red flag, and it wouldn't be a deal breaker, because quite honestly, like I said, you'd be amazed at how many men in high profile positions that don't really know what it means to be a husband. For instance, and I don't mean to prolong it, people are calling, but for instance, men don't understand when the Bible says love your wife as Christ loved the church, that means a man is going to have to have the capacity to step outside of his own experience and empathetically put himself in the position of his wife, and to be able to understand her emotions, and to be able to feel what she's saying even when he doesn't understand it, but just respect it because it's real to her. Most men have not been taught that kind of thing. Most men have not been taught that kind of thing. Most men have not been taught how to lead a woman. Because when you start talking about leading a woman, you're leading your equal. You're just leading the feminine version of yourself. And so, how do you respectfully lead a woman that she follows? Most men don't understand that when we start talking about submission, that's not an order. Submission is an honor earned. It's something that a man sows the seed of honor, and the woman provides the fruit of submission. Most guys have never been taught that, and that's why we fail in so many areas. So I would suggest just kind of doing what I asked, and I think it'll be a bonding experience for both of you.
I believe it would, and I thank you so much. I'm going to actually purchase. And you said Tony Evans and Miles Monroe?
Look into anything. Go on YouTube and look into anything Tony Evans has to say about marriage, a husband, Miles Monroe, anything he has to say about husbands. I know I did one message. My audience is 95% female, so I don't do a lot of stuff on men. But I know I did one message relative to husbands, and I did also a message that would be great to listen to relative to submission, that I think would help both of you. And just kind of look at those things, But Tony Evans, you can't lose dealing with Tony Evans.
Right, yes. I have some of his, but absolutely. Well, I thank you so much, Bishop, and you have an amazing rest of your day. Tell your beautiful wife I said hello.
I will absolutely do that. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you. Take care.
God bless you. God bless you. Let's see. Hello, who am I speaking with? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Melanie, and I am calling from Boise, Idaho, and it is a miracle I got through. This is crazy.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you for trying.
Well, of course.
What can I do for you, sweetheart?
Well, I wanted to do a testimonial, and I just wanted to give thanks to you. I'm going to get a little emotional, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I had to get a protection order against my ex-fiance. I was in a very, very bad spot. And I kept praying for God to send me something, some type of sign, some type of hope to help me know what to do past this point, because this is a pattern I followed through my whole life, and I'm 51. So I finally just got to a point with this gentleman to where it was very, very dangerous. He had spent his life in prison, which I was not aware of. He was physically very abusive. He actually had drugged me with a combination of meth, heroin, and ecstasy.
Wow.
And then took me to a hotel room and raped me. I did not realize what was going on because I was drugged so much, and because of my patterns that I followed, I did not even realize that this was not normal, because from when I was little to a grown woman. So I kept praying for God. I was like, okay, send me something. And I popped on YouTube, and you popped up. I didn't put anything in there, but you popped up. And from the minute you popped up, I listened to the first time I've ever listened to you, and it was talking about how our patterns from when we were little affect our life now and our patterns now and what we need to do. So I don't have a question for you. I just want to thank you because what you do has given me hope and has put me on the right path. And I watch your videos all the time now. And this morning I woke up and God told me to go ahead and get on YouTube because you were there, and then your number popped up. So this is definitely sent from God. You are a true blessing. You have touched lives. And now I'm going to take my experiences and hopefully help other people out there who have lived that experience and survived it. So I just want to say I love you to death. You are a true blessing from God, and I'm very thankful for you. Very thankful.
I don't even know
so
how
you
to.
changed my life.
I don't even know how to respond to that, other than to say it is God. You know, God is the one that rescues us. He may use people like myself as conduits to move through, but ultimately it's God. And I'm just so grateful that your life is in a safer and a more healthy place. And your words are priceless. I love you. Thank you for taking the time to even call and to say those things. It helps me a great deal to know that I'm on the right track. And
Can I?
sure.
I just would like to also, since I want to use this as a platform, I want to reach out to all the women and men that are going through this. My advice to you is there is going to be fear if you leave, and there's going to be fear if you stay. But take it from somebody who's gone through this twice. Taking your power back, getting a restraining order is the first step to your freedom so that you are not bound to this demon who is attached to you. So please take the first step, get the restraining order. That is the scariest part, but that is the first part of being free and safe in your life.
I agree. The biggest hurdle to cross is the hurdle of fear. But I love you. Thank you for calling me. I hope to one day. I hope to meet you.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love to. I actually want to be a motivational speaker. I think that's what God's wanting me to do. So this is going to be my first step to my new life. Well, I love you too. Lots of love from Idaho. Hi to everybody out there. Keep your head up. God does love you. He does miracles in your life if you just let him. So
God bless you, sweetheart. Have a good one.
Bless you too, hon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello. Cut your device down in the background.
Okay.
Who am I speaking with?
Now. This is Sharon from Houston area.
Sharon from the Houston area.
Yes.
How are you, dear? How can I help you today?
I'm well. I've recently just been on YouTube and you popped up, so I've been following you. I appreciate your work. I've shared it with my young adult daughter and her friends because that whole queenology thing is major, and we need that. I wish I had something at that age.
Wow.
I'm in a bit of a situation now. Been married 33 years. And at year 31, my husband, who is a man of God, decides I don't want to be married anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he packed all his stuff and he left. And it's been interesting. And I mean, we're both mature in our faith. And I'm just living the word of God now. I just feel that what the enemy meant for evil, God has turned it into good. Everything we read in the word of God is true. And this has been the worst thing that's happened to me, but it's also been the best thing that's happened to me. And since this, God has been using me to minister to other women in similar situations. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Lord, I'm still in the storm, but you still have me ministering to women. So I'm obedient and I do what he instructs me to do. So just want to encourage everyone, no matter what you're going through, God will still use you. I recently stumbled across the teaching you had. I believe it was on husbands. And I was thinking, that's the way I want my marriage to be. And not that I'm dumping all this on my husband, because there's two of us involved in this. So we both have things to do. So he's been saying he wants to come back, and, holidays and special occasions, he comes over, and but for the most part, our relationship is business, bills when we talk and chat. Mm-hmm. But he's saying he wants the marriage. He's saying he wants to honor God. He's saying he knows God hates divorce. But we talked, if he'll come over, and at one point we were trying to reconcile, and we went out with some friends. Things went south, and he was like, never mind, I don't want to do this. That was 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. Well, now he's saying God's been dealing with him, and he realized he's been running, and God showed him that it wasn't about me. It was really between him and God. And so, which is fine. God has given me supernatural grace to wait, to ride it out, to do whatever it is he has me doing during this last year and a half, because that's how long he's been gone. But yet he doesn't reach out, in between. He's just now, I think, grasping the concept that therapy would be beneficial. Mm-hmm. But he, like during the week or whatever, we don't talk at all. And my thing is, you say you want this, but your actions are saying something else. I have fasted and prayed about it, and only thing God gives me is be still and know that I'm God. And that has not changed from day one.
Well, are you done? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I am. I know I gave you a lot, but I just wanted to.
Well,
yeah, and I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Well, let me. Okay, there's a few things that I'm concerned about relative to your interest. It sounds like this has to be a mature man in terms of years at least. And for a man to be, married 33 years, 31 in, he decides he wants, to go elsewhere, to out of it, is concerning, because that's too old of an age to be at a place where you're not stable. And then, okay, it would be different if he made that decision and went 100% in that direction and said, I really don't want this, I'm looking for something different. But now to come back and to say, well, I think I do want this. And then to say, well, I want this, but we have a incident when you're out with your friends, and now I don't want this no more. And say, okay, I do want this, but my daily behavior is not going to authenticate what I say I want. That signifies to me that at least he's not healthy.
Correct.
You know what I mean? He's not.
I agree.
Yeah, he's not healthy emotionally. He may be a man of God, but he's not healthy emotionally. He may be a bit immature emotionally. It sounds like you're advanced emotionally, probably even spiritually.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that there's no hope for this reconciliation, but I think what it does mean is that counseling and therapy is not an option.
I agree.
I think he needs personal counsel. What makes a man at that age, that being married 33 years puts him somewhere in the vicinity of my age. Somewhere in my vicinity. What makes me at 56 years old decide suddenly I don't want my wife that I've had children with, we now got grandchildren and all. What makes me say I don't want my wife and then come back and say, okay, I do want you. Then we have a moment and I say, I don't want you. Then I come back and say, I do want you, but I don't follow through in terms of my daily behaviors. What puts me in that position? You have to know that. You have to know that, because The first time was difficult. The second time around, if you really open your heart completely to this, could be catastrophic.
Correct.
And so you have to, for your own well-being, you have to be certain that this guy really knows what he wants and that he is mature enough to follow through. Because you would put a lot on the line to say, okay, I'm just gonna open my heart. I think counseling and therapy are an absolute must. You need to be certain that he is healthy enough to be healthy for you. In other words, you don't want to just invite a toxin into your life at this point.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You've
I
you've
know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
Yes.
you've gone through the pain, you've suffered through it, God has brought you through it, and you're fine. You know what I mean? You're fine. Well, you don't want to just invite, you don't want to discover the teeth in the big bad wolf's mouth and like Little Red Riding Hood, and then reinvite the big bad wolf back in the house once you know you got to know what you're dealing with here for your own health, and you need to be certain that he's healthy enough. He needs personal counseling, and then the two of you need counseling together. And then you probably need some counseling because there's a lot of trauma that you've probably just buried for the sake of the family that you've not really
Yes.
dealt
Um,
with.
I've been in therapy since he left.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, and he didn't want to go, and I, have mentioned it on a few occasions, and then just recently, my daughter mentioned it, and then it was like the light bulb came on,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that now that he sees the need, but for him to actually, he has a phlegmatic personality, so he's slow to do things, slower than and I'm choleric, so that tells you the dynamic right there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's that's a
one
difficult
thing.
chemistry there.
Yes. One thing, he still continues to pay for everything here. If I need anything and call him before I can finish asking for it, the money is there.
Now,
So
may
he
I
makes.
add something there? That's a good sign. That's a good
Hmm.
sign because wherever man's money is, his heart is invested. And so
Okay.
that's a very good sign. And I say that's a good sign because you have to be concerned that this is not just a move of convenience. You know what I mean? That now you see yourself at
Yes.
a certain stage in life, and so now you're going to make the most convenient move. That's a good sign that he responds financially because the Bible says where a man's treasure is, there his heart is. So maybe his heart is there, seemingly, but maybe he has some emotion, maybe he has some healing to do.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. You've assessed the situation the same way that I see it, and that's what God has given me supernatural grace to hang in there, to stay with this, to continue to pray and intercede. And but at some point in time, He has to make a move.
He
He
has
has to
to.
step out to do it. And so that's where I am. And he's slowly slowly making progress. But for a happening, get it done. Let's do it. Choleric. So God is teaching me patience. He's definitely working on me. But it's just a man, and there is a lot of past trauma in his life. But with that personality type, he's one that likes to bury his head in the sand and don't want to deal with anything. Doesn't like confrontation. So, and I think it's just taking him in a downward spiral.
Yeah. Well, I will be
So,
praying
as a
for you.
wife, I guess my question is, as a woman and a woman of God and a wife and a helper, what is my position?
I think your position has to be. I think you have to lovingly confront him with your concerns and maybe with your reservations about certain things. I think definitely communicating your love and your desire to ultimately see this go in the direction that you both hope it does, but communicating that you really need to see this has to be real. We can't just this can't just be a fantasy, and it has to be on a foundation where everything is in place. Let him know that you're praying for him. But I think you have to lovingly communicate to him the truth when things do not appear to be on point. You don't want to sweep it under the rug, because at the end of the day, that rug is going to be in your house. And all of that stuff you sweep under is going to be left over for you to eventually clean up. So I think during this process, speaking the truth in love, as the Bible calls it, being able to speak truth to him in a loving manner, but in a fashion that forces him to deal with it. And then being in a posture emotionally where if it proves to be too much for him and he bails, that you can deal with that. And understanding that it's better for you to know that the character's not there before you make all of these permanent moves than am I making sense to you?
You are. I believe I've done that already, but maybe not in the, anytime we have the conversation goes below the surface, beyond surface conversation, the children, the dog, the house, the bills. Anytime it gets to he and I, he gets very uncomfortable. And in the past, he would just end it. But now I notice he is trying to have dialogue more, but I can see it's a struggle for him to do that.
Yeah, that and the mere fact that he's trying is a great is a great testimony. But the mere fact, and also the mere fact that he's struggling to be authentic, to be vulnerable, is a sign of trauma. That he's trying to run from something, he's trying to cover something, something's making him feel. So again, I think your role in this place, obvious as a Christian woman, pray for him, support him, but insist on therapy and counseling. And when I say therapy and counseling, now mind you, I'm a pastor. So, hear what I'm getting ready to say from that context. I am a pastor. When I say therapy and counseling, I'm not talking about a meeting in the office with the pastor, unless the pastor is also a therapist, because the kind of counseling he's going to need is going to have to be more than biblical encouragement to follow, biblical principles. This is going to have to be the kind of counseling where a person can dig beneath that surface without him realizing it and excavate the issues he's trying to hide and bring it to the surface for him to face it once and for all and to move on and to heal from it.
I agree. 1,000%.
Yeah, he's going to need a really skilled therapist, not just biblical encouragement to follow biblical principles.
Exactly. And that's what I've been praying for, that, when he does seek out one, that God will send the exact one that he needs.
Yeah. So I think that's where you support him, just analyzing him, looking at him, and I think as you analyze him and discern him, the Spirit of God is going to show you more and more relative to what needs to be ministered to and how you can as his let's say his friend right now, as his friend, help him in those areas to see if we can move back to the former status. But and at the same time, guarding your own heart, because you're not certain that your heart is safe in his hands just yet.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you for calling me.
Your ministry is just phenomenal. Just know that you are touching lives and changing lives for the glory of God, and we are grateful.
And I am grateful for you. Thank you for calling me.
Thank you.
God bless you, dear.
Thank you. You also. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Roxy. Let's see. Hello.
Oh my gosh, did I get through?
Yeah, I think you did. What's your first name, sweetheart? Don't give me your first and last, just your first.
My first name is Brandy.
Where are you from, Brandy?
I am from Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you for calling me today. I'm honored.
Oh my gosh, I'm honored to be able to speak with you. I've started watching you since the beginning of my divorce, and I'm calling because I just needed a little bit of guidance.
Okay.
Okay, so Went through a divorce last year. For me, I'll say for me, it was very traumatic.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32. Yeah, that would be traumatic at 32 years old.
Yeah, we were married for 5 years, together for 10. And I'm really struggling at this point because of everything that went on. I'm going to say, from my perspective, there was infidelity. What I want to say is, more recently, I was working on healing and everything, and me and him had been in contact, and we had been talking about making it work. And
Okay, was it infidelity on his part or yours?
Well, I would say there was both.
Okay.
While mine may not have been sexual, there was. I don't want to play light on what I did. I definitely had a moment with another gentleman, but I was forthcoming with it, and we went to therapy to work on most of that. But then later down the line, there was more on his part, and he just wanted to completely go. More recently, he passed away.
Wait, who passed away?
My ex-husband.
Wow. He was young, huh?
Yes, sir. And my ex-husband and my mother-in-law.
Wait, both of them passed away?
Yes, sir.
Was this COVID or something?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And so I don't know. I don't know how to heal. I don't know, and I don't know if anyone could tell me how to heal. But there's a lot of I've prayed against bitterness. And I've prayed against certain things that are coming my way. But there's a lot of, I feel like I have resentment or something that's left there that I'm not dealing with. And I just didn't know, as a pastor, as a father, as a husband to your wife, how does a woman go about trying to get over this or work through this? Like, I am sincerely struggling. And granted, it's recent. The passing is recent. Like, it was, yeah.
Well, wow. And my heart really goes out to you, because you're very, very young. You're very, very young to have to process a lot of the things that you've just outlined here.
Yes, sir.
I'll say this to you, because what you're dealing with is you're dealing with grief, and you're dealing with grief, and I think the main thing I will say to you is, while whenever we're grieving, just normally, this is not normal for you, because this is a kid, you're a kid, and a lot of things that were just unexpected happened, and now suddenly he's gone without being able to finish business that needed to be finished in terms of y'all's relationship, reconciliation, or just getting clarity. All of a sudden he's gone. And so now you're grieving, and it's like you're searching. You need these answers that only he could give, but he's not here.
Yes, you're right. And there's so much. Like, I found out some other things that really disturbed me, and I feel like I'm stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm stuck, and I don't know which way to turn to deal with it.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, let me say this to you.
Yes, sir.
The same principles that apply to a person that is stuck in a relationship, emotionally stuck at a place in a relationship with a person that is living, the same principles apply to a person who's in a relationship with a person that has just recently passed with unresolved issues. And what is that? A lot of times we think, and I want you to hear me, listen very carefully. A lot of times we think that the closure I need is going to be in something he tells me, or the closure I need is going to be in something he does or something she does. When the reality is, the closure that you need is going to be, always will be, in your capacity to forgive a person for being human and flawed. In other words, you come to a point where you just say, He's human, I'm human. He's flawed, I'm flawed. I forgive him. Now, what does that mean? What does forgiving him mean? It does not mean that you take whatever wrong he did and you justify it.
Okay.
But what it does mean is you accept the fact that though you loved him with all of your heart, he wasn't perfect. And then you look at yourself and you say, neither am I perfect. You accept the fact that he wasn't perfect. You release him into the hands of God. This is what you would do if he were still living. You release him into the hands of God and you move forward with your life. See, now at this point, you don't have a choice. You have to come to this point now where you accept that he was flawed, he made mistakes, he was human. There are things I found out about him that I didn't necessarily appreciate, but I can't do anything about that. All I can do now is hold on to the positive memories and now move forward with my life. Now, here's the thing about grief and losing someone that we loved.
Yes.
Once the person is gone, especially when they've died, we wake up every day waiting for things to get back to normal.
Yes.
And that is the biggest hook in terms of grief, is that you're waiting for things to get back to normal. I'm waiting, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm praying that things feel normal. Things will never be the same because that person is no longer here. So the moment you come to the reality that this, he was human, he made mistakes, he had secrets, he had this, like all of us do.
Yeah.
And the moment you come to the place where you say, okay, I accept the fact that life is different and I have to embrace a new normal, now your soul is going to open to begin to allow you to heal. And once you embrace your new normal and you accept the fact that things are different, I heard someone describe the death of a person we love to being like an amputation. Is you heal, but things are never the same. You learn to function, but things are never the same. You learn to live a full and complete life, but things are never the same. You have to accept the fact that he was flawed, he was human, he made mistakes, you made mistakes. There are things he never apologized for, maybe things you never got a chance to apologize for, and now things are different. And you have to accept that because you can't reverse that. To preoccupy yourself with trying to make things as they were or feel the same means that you're committed to a dead past. You have to now commit yourself to a positive future. Now it's time for you to chart your course into the future. Forgive for the things that he didn't get a chance to repent for. Remember the great things and live your life forward. Because right now, you said it best, you're like stuck. And you don't want to live your life stuck. And you find your closure in forgiveness and focus. Forgiving him for whatever. He doesn't need to apologize for you to get closure forward.
Right. So I can do that. And that makes a lot of sense. And I thank you for giving me the time, or all of us, a chance to connect with you and being the fathers of so many of us who don't have fathers. Because your books have helped me and your lives have helped me. So but just thank you so much for that, because I needed to hear that today. I needed to hear that.
Have you considered counseling or therapy?
I have. I actually reached out to the BetterHelp agency, and so I'm working on that. But I'm also working on doing some spiritual counseling as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
because it's necessary at this point.
Yeah, you need all of it, and just know I love you, and I'm praying for you.
Thank you. Love you as well. And I pray that the rest of the broadcast is as blessed as my time was with you on the live today.
God bless you, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Somebody asked me to cut off call waiting. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, yes. Somebody told me to cut off call waiting. I don't know how to do that. I guess that'll stop the beeping. What's your name, sweetheart?
Carla,
Carla. Where are you calling from?
Michigan.
Michigan. How can I help you today, Carla?
Okay, I'm so excited, so I need to calm down. My question, is a little lighter than the other women, and I'll be remembering them in prayer, but I have been through a divorce. I've been single for a few years, and I felt like, last year I would get out and date, but I didn't. I didn't really see anybody. The people approaching me, I wasn't really interested. So during this quarantine, I've been more active on social media. And my question is, how do you get the attention of someone on social media without... And I just watched a recent video where it was like women making first moves and stuff like that. So I don't want to do anything like that. But his father and my father are really good friends, and they're both bishops in the same organization, and we kind of like grew up parallel, but he doesn't know me, but we're Facebook friends, and he likes my pictures, and I like his pictures, and I kind of will test him out. Like, I'll comment on his stuff, and he always likes my comment, even if he doesn't like anybody else's. So I get little good hints. And one day he inboxed me and said, "I'm sorry," and I was excited when his name popped up because I thought he was gonna asked me, for my number or something, and he was just like, "I'm sorry, I deleted your last comment by accident. I'm at work, and I was trying to respond, and I was moving too fast, and I deleted your comment totally. So I want to apologize." And I was like, "Okay, that's okay. I understand." And that was like the end of that. So how do I kind of like?
Wait a minute. So he called you. Let me see. You still there?
Yes.
Okay, somebody told me press *7 to get rid of the beeping. Okay, so he on Facebook he sent you a message back talking about he mistakenly deleted your comment.
Yeah, in the inbox, like how you can go into the messenger.
Okay, I got you. And
so it was like
what was your response to him?
I said, "Oh, it's okay. It happens all the time. I understand. I figured it was something like that." And that was it.
Okay, so, now his daddy, your daddy are friends. Y'all grew up in the same church organization.
Yes.
Correct? But you say he doesn't know you?
No, I know his sister. Like, he was unsaved. Like, he wasn't even coming to church, and he just got back in the church about 2 years ago. So I don't know him. I know his sisters though, and I know his mom. I grew up with his sister.
Okay. My thing's still beeping. Okay. And so that's
we have the same circle. We're in the same circle of friends. But if quarantine wasn't going on, we would be seeing each other.
I got you.
But because we're not having events, it's like I'm not seeing him.
Well, see, like in a situation like this, what does he do?
He works for Ford, but he's his dad's assistant pastor.
He's his dad's assistant pastor. You told your dad you like him?
Yeah, I asked my dad about him my mom.
What's your dad say?
They really like him.
Okay. Tell your daddy to do like they did in the Old Testament. The old days, the father would go and talk.
Okay. And his dad, this is interesting too. His dad, we're Facebook friends, and for some reason recently, like, his dad has been on all my stuff. And it's a big deal when a bishop is on the girl stuff. Like, he likes my stuff. He'll say, "Go girl," when I make posts.
Well,
so I don't know if that's a good sign.
It sounds like, for a man to take the time to inbox you to say, "Well, I deleted your stuff by mistake," means that you have to be important to him, or at least he's thinking about, you're significant in his eyes. It sounds like you got the groundwork there. And then the thing you have to also understand is that a decent man is not going to just come at you
Right.
just directly. I want you. Decent man is not going to handle you like that. When a man has respect for you, he's a little more indirect, and
Okay.
so you have to do like I was talking in the video the other night. You have to kind of assist this situation. See, like when he sent you the message talking about he deleted your stuff by mistake, you supposed to say, oh, more than, oh, it just happens, it just happens. And you like the boy, you know what I mean? How are you doing? So you should have started. He opened the door.
Okay.
You suppose he went all through the trouble of inboxing you, letting you know, I'm sorry for deleting your stuff by mistake. You supposed to say, well, it happens. How are you doing? How's work? And see what happens
Okay.
is that begins a chain of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But all you said was, oh, it happens, it happens, it happens. So you left it at a dead end.
And I was 2 days late because I didn't even
Oh,
see
see, that's a
it.
bad sign. You should have said, well, how are you doing? How things been going? And giving him the opportunity to continue the conversation. You see, but it doesn't sound like it's too late. What is it that you like about this guy?
I feel like he's extremely spiritual, and at this point in my life I am too. So, and he has, like, all his posts are just things I love. Like, we have the same type of idea of dating. I want to be abstinent. I am abstinent, but I want to be I want us to not have sex till marriage, okay? And
Yeah.
I want that type of relationship, and he's excited about that type of relationship. And that's really rare. Not only do we have the same groundwork as far as, like, our churches are the same, our fathers are very traditional, so we have that in common. So I already know we have the same type of, like,
So,
religious thing going on,
so
but
let
I
me
just
ask you.
like his speech,
Well,
his conversation.
let me ask you. Do you actually like his stuff on Facebook?
Yes.
Do you comment on?
Sometimes I'm nervous because I like everything. I started to just like all his posts, but I genuinely do like the content of the post, because he doesn't have a lot of likes. Like, on my page, I have a lot of likes, so he blends in. But on his page, he might have 3 likes, and I'm always one of the 3.
Well, hey, listen. Let me tell you. You don't necessarily have to have a whole lot to say, but if you really like what he's saying, like it, because a man is always attracted to a woman that celebrates him. As
Okay.
as big or small as that may be, a man is always attracted to a woman that celebrates him, and a woman that says to him, "You're doing good. Keep it up." And periodically, just let them know this is good. This is great right here, and just drop it in there. Just drop it in there, and your dad knows. So trust me, I'm a pastor. I'm a preacher. And your dad's gonna make it known, especially if your dad likes him. Your dad's gonna make it known if your dad hadn't
Okay.
already made it known. But you need a dating coach. Somebody can teach you how to. I don't know how that boy
I
sent
do.
you that message talking about he made a mistake and all. That boy was. I mean, just say, come on, please welcome it. Please welcome in. And you say like, it
No.
happens. It happens. Girl, what's wrong with you? You know how many women wish they had a man open up a door like that? It happens.
Oh.
It happens. You
Oh,
need to go talk to your mama. Let your mama teach you how to. Come on now. Your mama got a husband. Let your mama teach you.
no. Okay.
Yeah, but I appreciate your approach. I appreciate you for being, a modest woman that is concerned about not moving too fast.
Yes, I don't want to mess it up.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'd rather you make a mistake like that than to do the opposite of that. But you seem to have a very polite and warm spirit. It's almost like I can hear in your voice that you are a nurturer. Just like I can hear that, your future husband will hear that same thing. This is what a man is looking for. A woman that is respectful and respectable. And a woman that has the kind of energy that makes a man comfortable. You see, now the drawback sometimes for a woman like you is that men respect you so much they don't know how to approach you. And so many of you ladies like yourself say nobody approaches me, and you think it's a
Yes.
negative when it's really a positive. It's
Okay.
that great men that would deserve you want to be very careful about not disrespecting you because you carry yourself so respectably. A man many times goes overboard in terms of making certain that he is respectable when it comes down to you. So you're going to have to really think the process through. And when a man inboxes you and says, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake for deleting your thing," and letting you know that you matter, you're gonna have to do more than say, "Oh, it happens, it happens." You're gonna have to open that door. You're gonna have to assist the brother. But you keep being who you are, keep doing what you're doing. There's nothing you need to change. There's nothing you need to change. But my prayer is that the Spirit of God will open another door of communication and that you will be wise in terms of your responses to be able to give him the green light to be able to continue the conversation. Let him shoot the shot. Just make certain that you're there to assist. And
Okay.
I'm believing that God is going to give you another opportunity, which I think the opportunity is just sitting there because it sounds like both of you are in the same on the same frequency. Y'all just need to connect.
Right. Right.
Yeah, y'all just.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna be
get this.
praying for you. Don't be
Thank
surprised
you.
if
I
you
need it.
don't be surprised if you become YouTube material now.
All right. No problem. No problem. I'm gonna be watching,
I
taking notes.
I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for calling.
Oh, love you too and your beautiful wife. Thank you.
God bless. God bless.
God bless you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for calling. Oh, love you too and your beautiful wife.
Cut your
Thank
device
you.
down. Cut your device down. Hello, who am I speaking with?
Hey, Pastor Bob. It's me, Brenda.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I am wonderful. How about you?
I am absolutely fantastic. I'm on top and going higher.
Same here, Pastor. I call with a testimony because I'm actually coming off a fast. And I'll say this. It was a fast about a guy from my past. And I'll share this with the young ladies as a source of encouragement, hopefully. Basically, me and the guy, like, I went on a fast, and I'm asking for clarity because at the end of the day, the Lord gave me that God is not the author of confusion. So that first day, he calmed my mind and my spirit because basically he showed me the person in a dream, but he didn't give me the interpretation all the way. So I knew it was for me to pray, and I knew it was for me to go deep in Christ. All right, no problem. So, prayed the first day. The Lord calmed my spirit. He calmed my mind, and he calmed my emotions. He calmed my mind because he said God ain't the author of confusion. He's a God of peace. So he gave me peace in my mind. Then he calmed my spirit, man, my emotions, because he said don't awaken love before it's time in Song of Solomon. And then something occurred that the Holy Spirit allowed me to see. And I guess what I'll say is it's a spirit of Ahab. And yeah. So, a man that's going to approach you, he going to have the confidence. Let him hunt. Let him step his game up.
I
And
agree.
even with it, it's for me to be about my Father's business right now. So I have to stay focused and eliminate those unnecessary distractions.
I
But
agree.
he knew he could tempt me by somebody with deep love from my past. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So if that can be a source of encouragement for the young ladies out there, sometimes we got to be about our Father's business. And likes on a page, that shouldn't boost our self-esteem because a real man going to approach you face to face. I don't allow people to DM me. I don't allow people to slide in my inbox because that's how people commit adultery and things like that. I'm not interested. And the way my page is set up, you're not going to approach me like that. Nevertheless, just as an encouragement, coming off a fast, the Holy Spirit calmed my mind and my emotions, but he still told my spirit to pray for him. Now, as far as healing, I had to pray. I had to cry. I had to let my own heart break before the Lord at his throne. in my prayer time. And then that's when I asked the Holy Spirit. I asked the Lord to fill me in those areas where I'm feeling hurt and pain and anger with the Holy Spirit. And that's how the Lord gave me peace today. So I just called in. I popped online. I saw you. I was like, oh, he live. I'm about to call in and give this testimony.
Thank you for calling, baby. I appreciate it. You've helped a lot of people.
Pastor Bob, it's a pleasure.
I love you, sweetheart.
I love you back, Pastor. Can't wait to get back in the temple.
I know that's right. Have a great one, baby.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Who am I speaking
Pastor. My name's Kim.
Kim.
And I'm not gonna be long.
Where you calling from, huh?
I'm calling from Illinois.
Oh.
And I met you when you came to Chicago. Remember it was snowing and everything? I met you at the Queenology conference.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm calling because I want to know, what exactly do I say? Okay, say I'm dating somebody, we're on a first date, I'm just starting to get to know this guy. And he says, what do you want in a man? Like, what are the qualities you want in a man? What answer do we provide without literally giving them a lot of information? Because I don't want to give somebody the blueprint on how to love me and then just fall in love with somebody that's just like a crazy person. What would be a good answer for this?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think if I were a woman, I would ask the question again before I answer it for somebody that's just listening. Ask the question again. What's the question again?
What would be a good answer for a man that said, like, we're getting to know each other, it's like a first or second date, and he says, what type of qualities are you looking for a man, or what exactly do you want in a man? Because I don't want to seriously give him that's where my mistake was. I'm literally giving somebody the blueprint on how to love me, and then I'm falling for this crazy person. Well, I've wasted 2 years of my life. So
well, you're gonna discern, but here's where I would start. I would tell him, I need a man that articulates his heart, which means what? You're calling for him to be a man of communication. You see, a man of communication that is articulating his heart is a man that is vulnerable. The only way a man can comfortably articulate his heart to a woman is that he is healthy enough to be vulnerable. His intentions are good enough to be vulnerable. A man that wants to deceive does not want to do a lot of talking. He wants to set the woman up to do most of the talking. So I would say I need a man that articulates his heart. I need a man that really hears me.
okay.
That means you're calling for him to be what? A man that is emotionally available and sensitive. A man that is empathetic, because there's a lot of things about you as a woman that he's not going to be able to understand, but his ability to be empathetic will allow him to hear you and feel you and respect you. I would tell him I need a man that lives his life on top of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, he's going to say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, no secrets. No secrets. And what do you mean by that? Well, I don't need a man that when he leaves to go to the store and forgets his cell phone has to rush back home to grab his phone off the table. I need the type of man that can leave his phone in my care.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you start talking like that and you start asking those kinds of questions, or you respond like that rather to his question, what you're letting him know is that your frequency is on a deeper level. That if he's a clown and if he's coming for anything other than serious business, he knows then I need to move on, because here's a person that can discern me. Here's a person that is not going to fall for the usual. So I mean, I would just respond, very politely, very feminine, like non-aggressive, but I would just, I need a man that can. I need a man that lives his life on top of the table. I don't. I don't. I need a man that I can relax. I don't have to be a private detective. I need a man that's emotionally available. I need a man that communicates his heart. I don't need a man that has all of these emotional feelings balled up on the inside. I need a man that talks about what he's feeling and doesn't feel like it compromises his manhood. You know, as opposed to the typical woman that's just out there trying to just get a man, just throwing out these Kool-Aid answers. I just need a man that's gonna love me. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? I just need a man that's gonna love me. What does that mean? That means I need a safe man. I need a man that's connected emotionally. I need a man that can undergird me when I'm having an emotional breakdown. I need a man that's going to be there for me when I go through all of the twists and turns that women go through and not going to bail on me. That you want to provide those specific and deep kind of answers to a question like that he understands you know who you are and you know exactly what you need and what you require of him relative to manhood. Because so often men, today, women let them off the hook. And men think that manhood boils down to just having sex and making a paycheck. But it's much more to life than having sex and making a paycheck. And you just intentionally, until a man really shows you that he's in it for real, you just intentionally guard your secrets. You know what I mean? You guard your secrets. You don't let a man into your heart until he has opened his heart to you. Always move at the pace of the man. If the man has not been vulnerable with you, if he's not shared his, innermost and darkest secrets with you, you certainly don't go out there and throw yourself on the sword, thinking that because you demonstrate this, he's going to follow suit. No, you got to always move at the pace of the man. If he brings it to level 5, you stop at 4. If he brings it to 10, you stop at 9. It's not until you realize you really know who you're dealing with and what y'all really have. It's not until then that you just go all in. As a woman, the man has to lead. You have to let the man lead the relationship in the very beginning. And then once you know what you're dealing with and you know that you have the real deal, is then that you can let your hair down and exhale and just, give all of yourself to a man, but not until.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
You did answer my question because I was answering it like, oh, I'll know when I see him, or I know when I hear him talk. That's what the answer I was giving, but maybe that's too short.
That's too short.
Okay.
And see, you know when you hear him talk, a man may very well just rehearse certain stuff. You have to ask the questions. Questions reveal motives, and queens ask questions that only kings can answer. You have to ask the questions that will demand the brother go deep. And if he doesn't have anything at those depths, he won't have an answer for you. And once you start asking a man deep questions like that, if he's not genuine, he's going to disappear. Yeah. If he's not genuine, he's going to disappear. That's why men typically like to turn the conversation romantic and sexual, like to talk about how fine you are, and then you go to bat in your eyes and you buy into that, and because all that's surface level stuff. Brother doesn't want you to ask him a question like, "What's been the most painful experience of your life?" Now you're looking, what you mean? Well, tell me about the most painful experience of your life. See, these are the kinds of questions that really get to the heart of a matter. When you go to asking a man like that, what would be the benefit of asking a man something like that? You get a chance to figure out where his trauma's at, if he's recovered from it, if he's had any emotional damage from it. Is this something that's above your pay grade, more than you ready to deal with or not? You see what I'm saying? So I think the more I give some examples, but I think the more a woman thinks about what she needs to know about a man, the better your personal list will become. And the deeper your questions. Now, the key to this is asking your questions with a very feminine like energy, not like you interrogating, not like a detective, but just I'm interested. Looking at him in his eye, I'm interested. I want to know. I want to know more about you, and choosing your times to ask these questions, and it'll help you to get to it'll help you to get to the bottom of who you're dealing with.
Okay. Thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
some great advice. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you so much. I love you. God bless you, sweetheart.
Love you too.
Thank you for
Bye.
calling. Bye bye. All right, y'all. I got to go. I love you all. I wanted to try this. So clearly, this is amazing. Clearly, this is amazing. I never thought to do this on YouTube. Let's see. Hello.
Yes. I'm sorry, is this Pastor?
This is R.C. Blake's.
Yes, sir. My name is Toya. God bless you.
Hello, Toya. Where you calling from? Florida?
Yes, I am.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for calling me today. What can I help you with?
Well, I have a question. I've been following you for a minute now. I thank you for your wisdom that you're sharing with so many. There was a man that I knew for about 10 years. And I basically, according to the advice that you had been giving, I had actually been implementing those nuggets of wisdom, from the conversations we had as far as what I was looking for in a man. I emphasized a protector. I emphasized that I was waiting and not so much looking, a man who was trustworthy and so forth. Well, long story short, as I was seeing his personality deviate from that which I was looking for, I would break things off. Mm-hmm. And he would come back and, say that he was, making himself better. And then I would see these things, other things be revealed. And so eventually it got to the point of it was discovered, or should I say, it was brought to my attention that he was cheating. He was seeing another woman. Mm-hmm. And we broke off. And he was overseas at that time. So he came to my presence while he was in the States. And, I guess it was a form of confession as far as what he did. And after that point, he was calling me constantly, apologizing, saying how he wanted to make things right. He still wanted to get married and so forth. And he was very consistent, but I just felt in my spirit I should break it off. And I guess my question is, should I allow him to I guess, redeem himself? Or was my actions appropriate?
Let me ask you, how old is this guy?
He is 53.
No. Block him. Block him.
Well, that's been done.
No. Block him. Anytime a man is that old and does not value a queen of a woman like I can hear you are, a man that old is not necessarily going to change. Is it impossible? It's not necessarily impossible. Is it improbable? Probably it's improbable. No. Accept his apology, but I would never in a million years trust myself as a woman, if I were one, in the hands of a 50-some-year-old man that fumbles a relationship like you say he did. A man that old with those kinds of issues has the kinds of problems that you cannot fix. He's gonna need counseling. He's gonna need therapy. He's gonna need a preacher. And with all of that working, he's still gonna probably have some issues. You don't need no 50-some-year-old man you got to be running behind trying to figure out if he cheating or not. What I look like at 56 years old out here trying to cheat. What in the world do I look like as a 56-year-old man out here trying to cheat? I'm out here on the corner trying to run games, smelling like Bengay. A 50-some-year-old man need to be happy to bring his behind home to his wife and be happy with his wife. You got a man that is that old and don't have enough sense to value having a significant other. I wouldn't trust that, babe. I wouldn't trust that. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to have to make your own decision. And I mean, God could work miracles, but I have not seen an old fool change. I've seen young fools grow up, but where's it for an old fool to go? You know, you lived this long and you haven't changed, you haven't learned better in life. I would not advise you to trust your heart in the hands of a man that has fumbled his life like that. You know.
And that's exactly what I felt. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any strife or any unforgiveness, that I did it purely out of wisdom and discernment.
No strife. Love him and appreciate him, to whatever extent. But I wouldn't let that man back in my life. No. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And I mean, I'm certain that there are people on here watching now who's saying, well, they man was 50-some years old and he did it and it worked for them. And there's always, an exception to the rule. But 95, 98% of the time, you get a man that old making those kinds of mistakes, it ain't no changing in him.
Yes, sir.
See, like right now, I don't need willpower. I don't need willpower to be a faithful husband. My age dictates that I bring my old behind home and be content with my wife. Wisdom, the experiences in life say to me, this is not an option for you. If I wake up today or tomorrow and I have the idea I'm going to get an outside woman, shame on me. I'm a fool. I've lived all of this life, made all of these mistakes, and I've gleaned nothing from it? No. So those are just my thoughts. You got to make your own decision.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
God bless you, sweetheart. Have a great one now.
God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Y'all got me locked in here. I was trying to get out. Hello. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Tia.
Tia. Where are you calling from, dear?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. How can I help you, Tia?
I have a question.
Sure thing.
I did not have the self-esteem and what you call
Queen consciousness.
The queen consciousness when I first got with my husband. Now, we've been married this year, will be 9 years. Mm-hmm. But when we were dating for 5 years, which was a mistake because he, took so long to marry me. But anyways, I had a daughter, and he said that he was going to, he had a daughter. He has a daughter as well, the same age. He was going to take her on as his own, and
mm-hmm.
Treat her like, because her father wasn't present. Treat her like his own, take her on dates and all these things. And as we progressed in our relationship, he wasn't showing signs that he was, going along with what he was saying that he was going to do. So to make a long story short, in our marriage ceremony, all of that was included, that he was going to, all these promises that he made, even though he wasn't showing them. And we got married and had other children, and he still hasn't, he's to the point where he doesn't really talk to my child. And, he does things, but he doesn't talk. He would give his last dime, but he doesn't talk. He doesn't communicate. He'll call down everyone else for dinner. He won't call for her.
Wow. That
type of a thing. And so now she's 17, and she has told me, why would you choose a man over me? Why would you continue to stay with this man who, doesn't interact with me, who doesn't, really talk to me? And we have other children. So my question is, for women who are either single or married, and you marry someone or you get involved with someone who, obviously, if you were dating, you could just break it off. But if you have other children and you're trying not to break a family up, what are your thoughts about situations where step parents, whether it's the woman or the male, what are your thoughts about,
what to do in those situations when you've gone through counseling and you've exhausted, spiritual counseling as well as secular counseling.
Well, ideally, of course, these are matters that ideally should be worked out before we get married. And you said that he did say that he would, he even had it in the vows and what have you. It's unfortunate. Do you have any idea why he's different with her over the others? I mean, have you had that conversation with him?
I thought it was just her because it wasn't his child. But then as I had other children with him, I have that same situation on a milder form going on with him.
Okay.
And another one of his children that we share. I do know that as a child, his father was an alcoholic, and there was a lot of abuse there with his mother, and he, I don't think that he liked him as a child. I guess he was the victim of his father's, abuse, and so he wasn't liked, and he liked other siblings. So I guess because he was treated that way, he does the same thing. So all I get is gaslighted and resistance, and we're always, if I think I want a divorce or file for divorce, then it's just a cat and mouse game.
Okay, so it sounds like it's just really a toxic and unhealthy environment.
It is.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's extremely, just based on just our brief conversation here. I'm not judging him because I don't know him, but it sounds like he could be a very wounded individual that probably does not even have the capacity to nurture a young girl that's not his biological child, probably not even to a certain extent those that are his biological children. How is he as a husband?
He does a lot of tasks. He's very task oriented, and he is a very good provider. And I call him like a robot, somebody who goes through all the motions, and he works. If I say, I just once you disobey, and you go against, sound judgment and wisdom, and you do, obviously get yourself in a situation, when you look at marriage and not wanting to break up families and marriages, you get, different answers from people who are super spiritual that tell you, regardless of what's happening, the person's not beating you, all of these things, and go ahead and stay. And then you get another, secular standpoint, which is, children are learning all of this, and you're teaching them, because whatever you teach your children, whether it's good or bad, we're training them up, whether it's good or bad, and they are going to follow whatever we teach them. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to also recreate that and teach that, but then I also want to honor God with marriage. So that's where it gets confusing.
Well, and here's the unfortunate reality. Church folk, religious people will always confuse you relative to personal decisions that you have to make regarding relationships. Church folk will tell you because a man is, young and immature, that you need to give up on him, and it's done. He's cheated. He's done. Get rid of him. And then you get rid of the man. The same young man grows up, finds God, matures, and then becomes a great husband for another woman. And you say, man, the church folk told me get rid of this man. Church folk will tell you, oh, he just beating on you. He hadn't slept with nobody, and he's emotionally abusing you. You got to hang in there with him. And then when you find out you got a psychopath and he kills you and half the family, then church folk silent. I never superimpose myself upon anybody's personal choices. You're going to have to find your own rhythm regarding this relationship. And just because y'all got paper doesn't mean it's a marriage. Just because you had a ceremony doesn't mean it's a marriage. A lot of folk got weddings, and there's a vast difference between a wedding and a marriage. You're going to need. I can tell there's where we can handle it. I think it has to start with you and your baby girl going to counseling. I think the two of you, because she has some issues now that have been developed as a result of this relationship. I think going to counseling where she can get certain things out and you can get certain things out and she can understand you, because right now she's trying to process grown folks drama with a child's mindset. And I think counseling, if it is not helpful for the moment, counseling will at least set her up for the next few years when she becomes an adult to understand what happened, and that she was not abandoned by you, but that she was kind of caught up in a whole situation that you didn't necessarily have control of, and it was after the fact that you realized. I think counseling will reveal the things that will help her to put it together when she becomes an adult, that she doesn't harbor this pain or these feelings or these thoughts throughout her adulthood. This is a lot. This is a lot that you've communicated. Do you still love this man?
I still love them, and throughout the whole time, I've advanced myself into a higher degree, and so you have those same insecurities of, someone telling you that you have a God complex, or that you think you're better. So it's all of those, the anger and the yelling, the cursing. It's all we're supposed to be Christians, but you're being attacked because you're advancing yourself. And the other person said they were going to advance themselves, and they didn't. And maybe if they advanced themselves, they wouldn't feel as inferior. Yeah. And so if you're, a strong Black woman that's very educated, who continues to, to climb in your education, just a constant attack on me and my character, on my spirituality, anything that I do, because of his insecurities and hurts, like you said before.
Yeah.
That makes him look at me like we're enemies. So we love each other, but it's a love-hate situation. Mm-hmm. You love me, but then you hate me at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you a couple of questions, then I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Have you asked him lately, what does he need from you?
I heard one of your broadcasts the other day where you said when we're telling them what we need, we also have to give them a moment to ask them what they need. And to answer that question, it's a good question, because as a woman, you're going to feel guilty, because if your child is telling you, oh, you're choosing a man over me, and you love your child, but then you also love your spouse, and you're in the middle, you feel guilty when you're trying to meet the needs of your spouse, because you feel like, oh, you're entertaining someone who doesn't really invest the way they're supposed to in your child. And so I only feel like I can give only so much, because if I give too much, I feel guilty about it. So I have had that conversation, but it's hard for me because I don't want to give too much, because I feel like, I'm just ignoring my daughter's concerns, and I'm just giving everything to this man, even though he's not giving her or me what I need.
I get it. Well, okay. Somebody put something in the comments that I think is powerful, and I just happened to get a glimpse of it, and I think it's powerful advice relative to your daughter, because we have different, in this whole scenario here, this whole story, we have different compartments. We have you and him, we have you and the daughter, we have the daughter. But I think relative to your daughter, let's put her on Front Street. I think where you can start, in fact, this person said this and I agree with it, is by admitting to her and apologizing to her for putting her in a position to feel like this.
Yes, and I've done that.
Yeah, and I think consistently reinforcing that and communicating to him the damage that this has done.
He doesn't acknowledge it, and he's a narcissist, I believe. He's a
yeah.
a covert passive aggressive narcissist
Yeah.
is what my diagnosis is, and I am able to give that diagnosis. But I've let her know that, but then it's still like each year it's like, oh, you're still with him, even though it's not a child's place to tell you.
That's right.
You know, but it's like, you know, okay, you've apologized, but then now where's the action to back that you know, care about I'm being ignored. You care about that, you know, this person doesn't talk to me. If I get in the car with them, they're just going to turn some music on or whatever. They're not going to have any, you know, emotional conversation or anything significant to say to me, and I'm just kind of being ignored. I'm here. I'm not being abused verbally, you know, or physically or sexually, but I'm being ignored. And so it makes me not be able to relax into my marriage and be comfortable, because if I do, then I'm looking at her, looking at me like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, you know, so it puts me in the middle. And I have recently attempted divorce, and every time I attempt divorce, it's, oh, go ahead and divorce. And then when you go forward with the papers, then it's like, it's a cat and mouse game. Oh, I want you back. Oh, don't divorce. But then there's never any real efforts of change as far as character and actual wanting to work. I don't believe in counseling. You know, it's not part of my culture. So it puts you in a situation to where, you know, you can't get through any problems. No one can get through anything in life unless they are actually willing to do the work. Whether it's a marriage, any type of relationship that requires work, that requires, you know, self-work, you know, work within getting closer to God, or work, you know, through counseling, whether it's secular or, you know, Christian counseling. You have to do the work in order to change, to make any relationship work. And that's what this person is not willing to do, which made me come to the conclusion that I just need to, regardless of how we keep going back and forth, I just need to end the relationship.
And let me add this. That's your personal decision. Nobody has a vote in that. You know, that's your personal decision. And based on what you've shared with me, I have not heard anything where this man has fulfilled the responsibility of a covering, of a head, of a husband, of father. I just haven't heard it. And I'm listening to you, and I can tell that emotionally you're broken.
I am.
Yeah,
and I have my own father wounds, and I've used you, and I thank God for you. I really believe that on nights when you say, oh, it's 2:00 in the morning and God just told me to put clothes on and get online or whatever, I really feel like that when I'm praying, God, please give me answers, that you're for me, I know you're doing this for thousands of people, but I really feel like you're giving me the answers to help me, you know, wake up with that consciousness, which if I would have had this before, I would have never married him. But you're helping me find answers, because I know I have to find the decision and move through the decision on my own. I know that's something no one can tell me, but you help guide me, and I thank God for you for that.
No one can tell you, not even your daughter. Your daughter can't tell you. Your daughter can't dictate that. That has to be for you to make any move to stay or to go in good conscience. It has to be a decision made between you and the Holy Spirit within you. But I hate to hear some of the things that I'm hearing, because there's a lot of emotional trauma here that's happening that you're going to have to process and heal from. I can tell that you're a very strong woman, and it's going to require your spirituality and your depth to be able to pull through a lot of this stuff. But you're going to have clarity, and you're going to know exactly what you need to do sooner than later. And
I believe that.
Yeah,
I receive it.
Sooner than later. And then it's just going to be a matter of doing what you know to do. And just know that I'm out here praying for you. I'm certain that you will stay on my heart, and I will pray for you periodically as the Spirit of God brings you before me. And God has answers, and you know, this is not the end of the world. We're going to be all right.
Well, thank you so much for your words. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You don't realize what your words have done to me. She's listening somewhere, I'm sure. God bless you, sweetheart. I love you, and have a great day.
God bless you. I love you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, family. Listen, I got to go. I've been on here going on 2 hours. This is amazing. Though I'm going to do this more. It gives me an opportunity to connect with you on a more personal level, to speak with some of you that I may never meet physically in life. And always remember that, I'm just a man and I have opinions and I'll share them with you. And some of the things that you all might share with me might be deeper than the moment and might require us going a little deeper, even beyond the conversation. But thank you so much for calling me today. Thank you for all of you that gave or whatever. Thank you for the thumbs. I don't know what my thumbs looking like. So in my $26 seed offering here, you have answered so many of my own concerns today. Blessings to you, your wife. Oh, God bless you, Jacqueline. I appreciate you and all of the rest of you that have given through Super Chat or whatever. Thank you so much. But give me some thumbs. Okay, I got 499 thumbs. I've been on here 2 hours and had over 800. I think I had over 900 at a certain point, and I only have 525 thumbs up. What you call it? Likes. Y'all give me some likes, man. And know that I love you. Know that I appreciate you. What else is it? Don't forget to go by rcblakes.com to register for Queenology 2.0, the second part, which is happening in December. Kingology is happening in October. Just $29. I want the brothers, the husbands, the fathers, the boyfriends, the uncles, the friends, uncles. I need them in Kingology. It's happening October. I forget the exact date. But you can go to rcblakes.com and register right now. I need 394, am I right? Yeah, 392 thumbs to get to 1,000. Give me some likes, y'all. But go to rcblakes.com, register for Kingology and Queenology. Don't forget all of my online programs are there. You have helped me a lot this year. Much love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jess. I appreciate you. And all of you that sent me messages early, I apologize. I was just kind of tied into talking to the people I was talking to. All right. God bless you. My voice is worn out. I've been talking now for about 3 hours this morning. God bless you. And have a great one. Have a great one. You have to ask for the likes early. Oh, okay, I see. So you have to ask for it early. Okay, I get it. You got to ask for it early. Okay. Well, I'll try to figure out how to get that beeping out of there. That beeping bothers me too, but until I get a more sophisticated system, we might have to deal with it. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Good night from South Africa. Where are you all chiming in from? South Africa? Any other countries in here with me tonight or today? South Africa again, London, Norfolk, wow. Miami, Charlotte, London, UK, England, wow. I love the UK, California, Holland, Brooklyn, New York, Michigan, Washington, D.C., South Carolina, Coventry, UK, oh my goodness, New Mexico, Illinois, Kylene, Texas, that's close to where my house is, Kylene. Alabama, St. Louis, London, UK, I have a lot of London, Jamaica, my wife is from Jamaica, Long Island, Baton Rouge, Kentucky, Tennessee, Trinidad and Tobago, Cleveland, San Diego. You all in here from everywhere, in other words. Louisiana, God bless you. Well, listen, I'm gone. I love you. I'll talk to you all real soon. Thank you so much for everything.